Well, welcome to the Coffee Cup Web Form Builder video. For those that have a True32 Corporation designed and hosted website, or just a True32 Corporation designed website that's hosted by someone else. You can edit your forms, and the forms on your website, we'll look at those real quick. They consist of, there's just two, the Contact Us form and the Selections Gallery form, and those two forms are made up of the Contact Us form is just a few fields, and the Selection Gallery is quite a few fields. Okay, so we've got our Contact Us form here, and that's the first one we're going to work on, and it is on a page called Contact Us HTML. And then we also have our Selection Gallery form over here to the right. This black area in the center is our Selection Gallery itself. That is a photo gallery builder component, but this is a form over here, and all these pull down boxes, you have control over what's in these pull down boxes and the description of each of these boxes and how they react, whether they are pull down or whether they're a check box like the antiquing here and where sanding, or whether it's just a blank box that the client can type into. And then there's also some error checking. This field here, if they don't type in an email address, will not let them submit the form. And if they leave any of the fields that have a star, an asterisk, as we have a note down here indicates required field, if they leave any of these fields that have an asterisk next to them blank, then it won't let them fill that in or let them submit that form until they do. So let's go ahead and open up our Contact Us form, and you can go here to the Open and then browse to the folder that has your website. In this case, I'm going to my True32 Custom Cabinetry website, and I have a simple Contact Us form, and obviously these are XML files like the files we had in the photo gallery software, so they're in here together in the root directory or the public HTML file. And we see here that we have a simple Contact Us form and then the selections form. So those are the two that we're going to work on. We'll start with this one first, the simple Contact Us, or in the name of the file itself is simple contact form. We'll open that up, and not a lot of components to this part of it. You have up here is where you can add the different fields, and here we have a description. And that's a description field, and the description is coming from that label of that description field, and you can slide those things around. If I take my arrow key, and when I have one of these selected, I can move it left or right by just using my arrow key. And then these are actually content fields. Your options are you can have a text field, an input box field, or this is actually the text itself that would go onto the page, and then a text field, checkbox, drop down, and we'll look at more of these radio list and these type fields when we're actually looking at the more complicated selections gallery, but all these fields are available. CAPTCHA is a field you may choose to use in this particular form if you start getting a lot of spam type these forms being filled out by spammers, and they're entering their stuff and submitting it to you, and you're getting those as emails. You can add a CAPTCHA field. A CAPTCHA field would just, you'd make this form a little bigger, or maybe make your, you can make these fields any size you want, and you can put it under there, whatever. If you want to make the whole thing bigger, you can. Obviously, on this page, we have room to make this wider, or we could do several things and make some of this narrower and fit it in, or raise that up, or use more of the space at the bottom, more of the space at the top. But you can make this form have a CAPTCHA field, and that would just put an image down here, and then the user who's trying to submit it would have to type in what they see in that image, and that just keeps the automated spammers from being able to come in and just spam your email box. But your options over here to the right are, we can configure the form settings, and you just click on that. And the only thing that I could think of that you might want to change from time to time is if your email changes. You may want to come in here, and this is going to send the emails, In this case, it's going to send them to two addresses, just kind of a safety factor. It's going to send it to me at sales@true32.com, which means I'll get it and my office administrator will get a copy. And it's also going to send kind of a backup copy, to a blind carbon copy, to my True32 custom cabinetry address. And it's just to make sure that if one's not working, I get it at the other. But you choose the email addresses, and if you change email addresses, you might have to come in here and change that. And then here we've got to have a page to redirect to, and you don't have to do this. You can just let them stay on the page they were on when they directed it. But here we basically are sending them to, and if you kind of scroll over here to the right, we see that this is our website address. And as we come a little further, we see that we have a page called thankyou.html. So if someone fills out the Contact Us page, we're redirecting them when they hit that submit button to a new page that's called thank_you.html, and that's a page that you can edit and make say whatever you want. Then here, this is the email that's going to be sent to the client and to you. Is going to have a subject line of Contact Us response, and then it's going to have the thanks for contacting True32 Custom Cabinetry. We will get back to you as quickly as possible, or whatever you want. You can type over all of this. It's just type text, and you can put whatever you want there, and that will be in each of those emails. Most of you won't be using these types of advanced features, so but if you do want to do that, there's a really good help field up here that with a HTML link to their website with all those instructions, or a PDF. Tab order just allows when they have their cursor in these fields, and if they use the tab key instead of their mouse to go to the next field, this makes sure that it goes from this name field to the email. It doesn't skip around the page. It goes in order of the fields. And then and you can move those. I'm sorry, you see here you can move them by using the up and so if you wanted the submit button to be up one, you'd move it up or down. File uploads are the type of files that if you were creating a form that you were going to allow your client to send a file to you, you could determine which types of files they would be allowed to send, and where to save them to your server, or just send the file to you as an email and let you put them on the server if you wanted it. So that's your options there. Again, most of you won't be using that for this form for sure, and most of you won't be using those features. Once you get this form like you want it, and over here you have some color options, background options, and these are very, very similar to the photo gallery software as far as the background and whether it's transparent or whether it's got a color to it, and the size of this field that we're working with. In the photo gallery that was black, here it's white, and actually we're using that transparent. You see that that's checked, so when we look at it on the website, we're seeing the background through this form. You see that this parchment background is showing through the form because it's got a transparent background. We're not seeing this white box. And the transition, how it transitions from the top, right, bottom, left. In this case, we don't really have any type of transition in this type of form. Nothing's moving in or out. Text area, we're not using this area right now unless we're on one of these fields. Once you come to one of these areas here where you're actually on one of these fields, this field is called the name field. And if you wanted to have, in none of these fields we actually have starting text, but we will see that in the other form. But I don't think any of these have any starting text. But you could actually say down here, enter your message, and they'd have to back it out and type their own. But I think it's self-evident from these descriptions what needs to be typed in. And you want to allow this particular field here to word wrap, where we probably don't up here. This one is a required field. These are your options down here. You can disguise text where when it's typed they can't see what's being said. Required field, email address field. If it's an email address field and they don't type in an email address, it won't let them submit it. Email verification. Actually, this will give them the form, and this is the one that won't allow them to send it unless they do that. And you could have read-only fields where you put something in there and they can't type into it. And then you could have a maximum length if you didn't want them to type too much in it. If you just enter 0, then it basically doesn't have a maximum length. And again, the background color of the field itself, your font, font color, and the font style. So you have quite a few options there. Once you have this designed like you want it, and you like what you see, then you would just simply say save. And you're going to save it to that same folder, and you'll have to browse to that folder if you haven't the last, it's going to save it to the last place you saved it. So after you've done it a few times, or once, it'll be where you want it to be. But in this case, this hasn't been saved to this folder recently. So I'm going to True32 Custom Cabinetry. Then and that gets me to my website, and then I'll see that I've already got one, and I'm just copying over it. And I'm going to cancel that, but you would say yes, and it would copy over it. Well, actually, I have to do it so I can show you that file, or the code that we're going to have to copy into our web page. So we're going to come back over here to my websites and True32 Custom Cabinetry, and yes, we're going to let it copy over. And we get a little snippet of code very similar to the code that we got for the for the photo gallery builder that we need to copy into that actual page. And again, we're not going to use this left side. It is a little kind of a junior FTP program, but again, it won't do this for us, so we may as well not use that FTP there. And again, you have several options for selecting this. The safest one would be to right click and select all. There's no way you can miss anything that way, and then copy to clipboard, or right click, select all, and then right click again and say copy. But this does the same thing. So once you've got that code copied, then you'd come over here to your FTP software, and again, if you have the HTML editor, you could do this portion in the HTML editor. But here we browse to our My Documents, or wherever you're keeping your website. But if I set it up, it's going to be under My Documents and then My Websites, or My Website in your case. You probably don't have more than one. And then you should have a folder that's named whatever your website's named. And the file we're looking for, remember, is the selection gallery page. So, or in this case, the Contact Us page. So here's that page we see on our website, contact_us.html, and we can right click on that and say we want to edit it, and the page will come up right down here, and we just have to scroll down this page until we see that little snippet of code that starts with the word object and ends with the word object. And we're getting close, and there it is right there. I see the word object, so there's the beginning and there's the end. So I'm going to select all of that and then right click and say paste, and that puts the new information, and now I haven't changed anything, so nothing's really going to happen. So then you'd log onto your server, and once you're logged onto your server, you would go to that file. You have to go back down to it. Oops. Contact Us, and then just simply say upload that file, and it'll upload over the top of the existing file. It'll ask you if you want to do that, and you'll say yes, and it'll load this new changed edited version on top of that. Now the other form that we've got is our selections form. So this one's a little more elaborate and a few more features, and let's just quickly try to take a look at that. I'm going to cancel out of that and say I want to open, and this time, and a lot of the things are the same, but we also have some options that we didn't have in the other one. The real simple little thing. So here, this is a typical, just a text field, so there's no starting text or anything like that. It's just a field that the client can type in. Same thing here. So here they'd type the name of their job, so we would know who's sending us, because we're going to receive an email for what they want in this room, of what door style, what species and finish, and all that. And then here we're going to have again another typed field, and they can put in the kitchen, bath, whatever the room name is. And door model, if you wanted to, you could come over here and add a list of, on this side you would add a list of the doors that are available, like we'll have in some of these other fields. And you see they're pull down fields when we have the little arrows. And again, this is not a pull down field or a drop down, drop down box. This is how you would add one of those fields. Is here's the drop down box here, and you'd slide it into position. But this panel profile, or wood species here, is a drop down box, drop down field, and you would come over here and give it a name, and then come in here and, sorry, got software dropping off there. Come over here and put into, whether it's a contact list, and then the menu item, just right above that contact list, the menu item, here's where you enter what you want them to be able to, or what they want to see in this field. So when they scroll this open, this is what they're going to see. Just the type text, choose one, telling them that they need to choose one of these, and then all the items that are available in these WoodSpec. And I've just pulled all the items that are available from Conestoga here. And if you need to add a new one, you just come down here to the bottom and hit enter, and you could type in, let's see if there's anything that I can see that's obviously lacking here, and it may even be a very unusual wood. I see here we've even got bamboo, so I'm not seeing a lot of missing species here, but let's just say we had a knotty hard maple, and that would then be in your list for them to choose from if you added that. And you see each one of these fields that have this arrow to the right that are drop down fields have this little field that allows you to add these boxes. Not too long ago I had to come to my distressing, and some of you may need to do this and add the level 3, and it wasn't available. We had level 1 and level 2, but we didn't have level 3. So that had to be added. And then you've got these checkbox fields like this, where they actually come in and just check it yes or no. It is wear sanded or it's not. And basically they're going to find that answer by looking through your kitchen gallery or bath gallery or other room gallery and looking at the descriptions you've got of some of your pictures. And if they see something they like that is wear sanded, they would say yes. Same thing with antiquing. And then the door hardware is just a type text field. Drawer hardware is just a type text field. And then we've given them room for some additional comments and their email. And the email field is a required field. They can't leave it out. So it's going to have that structure of an email. And then we have it set as a validation as email. So if it is missing that @ character, and then the last 3 is not net or com or some typical email type address, then it'd say no, you can't submit this form. And again, you have your color options and all that. So that's how that works. This one, as far as saving it and all that, would work just like the first one. So hopefully that's helpful, and that you can edit your own forms now. And again, this one, like the other one, also has the form settings where you can come in here and change your email addresses, where it's going. And if you want it to carbon copy to someone, you could add that here. What happens after they do this, and I believe this one just stays where it's at. Yes, it just stays on that selections gallery page, so when they select it, it stays there, so they could do another form for another room. But you could redirect it back to the main menu if you wanted to, or just wherever you wanted to. Again, you probably won't mess with these advanced selections. You do want to make sure your tab order's right, so if they're tabbing from box to box, that they get, keep coming top to bottom and not skipping around the page. And then again, most of you won't be using this, but if you ever wanted to create some sort of form that allowed them to send something back to you in the way of a file, it could come as an email or actually upload to your server. So that's how the form builder software from Coffee Cup works, and hope that helps everyone, and thanks for watching the video.